So it was around June 2018. I just finished my first semester and I just lost my first girlfriend. You see, I was one of those Gen Zs who grew up watching a ton of romantic movies from different genres: Hollywood, Bollywood, Collywood, Korean wood. So it's no surprise that when I did get my first girlfriend back in 2018, I went all out. Flowers, love notes, grand gestures, and I thought she would be happy too. But she wasn't. Time went on. She started to pull away in the most subtle of ways. It started with a late reply to a text, then it became a lack of enthusiasm for the plans that I make. The harder I tried to hold onto that relationship, the worse it got. And before I knew it, we broke up. So I did what every hopeless romantic usually does. I blamed and convinced myself that I didn't do enough. So I try again, with someone else this time. And this time, I doubled down. More effort, more grand gestures, more gifts, and same thing happens. Because I was under the impression that if love was about giving, then obviously I had to give everything I had, right? I did everything what those heroes usually do. I did everything girls wanted me to do. They want a nice man, kind, sweet, opens the door for her. It definitely started to feel completely unfair. Then I looked at my father. He was the complete opposite of me. Cold, controlling, sometimes even violent. But what baffles me is that my mom stayed with him despite all of it. So I took a step back and I started to watch people more. Not their words, but their actions. At parties, the loudest, most arrogant person often had the most attention. At work, the least empathetic person climbed the ladder faster. And in relationships, the one who withheld affection the most seemed to be the one who captured their attention easily. So I started to wonder if that's what people actually wanted after all, to chase after someone that treated them poorly. So beginning in 2020, I decided to test a new theory. What if I was selfish? What if I became cold, distant? What if I became the bad boy, the fuckboy that they all seem to love? Some guys have trouble becoming that character, but I had such an easy time becoming that character because that's what my father in a way was. I didn't want it to work. I didn't want this persona to succeed in dating. But it did. It did work. It was around April 2020 now, and girls find a much better liking in me. Throughout the whole year, I juggled relationship after relationship. I felt so unstoppable, but at the same time, never have I ever felt so wrong in my life. The more relationship and the more physical intimacy that I get into, the more soulless I start to feel. And at the end of 2022, I feel nothing. I felt like an empty soul.
You know, मेरे पेरेंट्स के साथ शायद मेरे इश्यूज कम हो जाएंगे, but men, पता नहीं. I'm not gonna find anyone.
Looking around, the world feels like it's been flipped upside down. Once love was celebrated, an ideal we all aspire to be, depicted in songs, stories, and dreams. Building a life with someone was a noble pursuit. The idea of two people growing together, supporting each other through life's challenges, seemed like the ultimate goal. But now, it seems like everything has changed. Movies are not the same anymore. Love is now cringe. Treating someone nicely is simping. Today, kindness is mistaken for weakness. Generosity is exploited. People demand perfection in their partners while offering little to no values in return. Promiscuity is glamorized and rewarded while toxicity is applauded. People nowadays strategize their own relationship as if it was a goddamn chessboard. The algorithm of our digital age rewards outrage and selfishness, leaving deep connections buried under superficiality. Love has been replaced by games. Push and pull, breadcrumbing, ghosting, all in hopes to protect oneself and protect one's own ego rather than build a connection together. After witnessing what the world and myself was becoming, I didn't want to be part of this anymore. So I stopped. I stopped chasing love, and for the first time in years, I turned inward. It's 2023 now, and for the first time in years, I aimed to stay single. I traded romantic pursuits for personal ones. I started with small changes, like waking up early to catch up the sunrise, journaling my thoughts, picking up hobbies that I'd long forgotten. I traveled to places that made me feel alive, places where no one knew me. And in those moments of solitude, standing atop mountains or walking along empty beaches, I felt a peace I hadn't known in years. And then with absolute pure miracle, I find love for a girl once again. I personally was lucky in finding love, but in reality, it's incredibly hard to not only find love, but keep love for the long term in a healthy, sustainable way, because nobody teaches you how to. School doesn't teach us these things. Our parents aren't the greatest role models either. Social media isn't helping, and movies and TV shows rather stop at happily ever after, rather than showing us what's after the curtain. The problem isn't because we are hopeless romantics. The problem stems from something deeper. A lot of hopeless romantics' main issue stems from our insecure attachment style when it comes to relationships. Or more accurately, a lot of hopeless romantics share this anxious attachment style, and in my case, a disorganized attachment style. So the problem with hopeless romantics lies within its word itself, hopeless. Because true romance is actually hopeful. The nature of true love is undying faith. From what I've seen in my life, I have failed in love when I was overly emotionally dependent on the outcome of my relationship. But once I let go of my desperate desires, I have received everything I've ever wanted from love. By letting go of my need for that second date, I managed to focus on the present moment. By letting go of my need to have intercourse with them afterwards, I felt every inch of their presence. But most importantly, by letting go of my desperate desire to succeed in relationships, I could finally love them for the way they are right now, not the romantic image I've idealized myself in my head. So to you who is listening to this right now, if you are a hopeless romantic, I want you to know that everything you dream of, the romance you saw in movies, the love that you yearn to give, it's all real. But we need to find love in the whole first. A love for the divine, a love for life, a love for the journey, and especially a love for yourself. As cheesy as it sounds, the hopeless, limitless romance that you seek is already inside of you. When you look close enough, love is abundant. It's everywhere, but it starts with you learning to see it in the first place. If this video moved you in any way, shape, or form, then I have a community especially made for you, and I would love for you to join the group with us. But except that, have yourselves a good day and take care of yourself.